Hi everybody, it's Kimberly here. Um, it's Sunday morning. I'm eating my breakfast of banana nut muffins and my chocolate milk. This is going to be kind of shaky because I forgot my holder, my camera holder. I know this whole week, past week and a half, whatever, almost 2 weeks, it really threw me off track, and it really, emotionally just brought me down, but I'm gonna get back up. Just get over it. And I haven't been posting my regular mukbangs, story times, and all that. But I'm gonna do a story time today, and keeping in the theme of stealing from me. This story should fit right in. Years ago, I had an old 78 Mercury Marquis, and it was like the two-door vinyl top, and it was the old one, but the motor was perfect. It ran so good. And at the time that I got it, it was really ugly. The inside was really good. It had a couple of rips, maybe small rips in I think by the side doors of the seats where they need to be redone, and they were real faded. And it actually didn't have that many miles on it. I can't remember exactly. I think it had like 78,000 miles or something. Really not very much. And I just didn't like long, big cars then. I always drove like a small car, and I'd never driven a V8. Always had the tiny little hamster wheel motor cars, But I was kind of in a bind, and I had to buy a cheap car fast, and I found that one, and I think it was like $1,000. And it actually turned out to be one of the best cars. It was really old, and it was really ugly. I actually kind of almost cried when I got it. I think I was like, this is so ugly, and I was so disappointed. But after driving it the first time I drove it, I was in love with it, and I was planning on fixing it up. The vinyl top needed to be fixed up, the upholstery needed to be fixed, and I think the headliner was kind of ripped or kind of sagging and needed some repair. And it did need actually mechanically it didn't need anything. And as the year wore on, I think I did have to replace the brakes, and then another year I had to do I think an alternator, like a new battery, some smaller things. And then one time the carburetor went out, and it's, the old style didn't have EFI, and the fuel injection didn't have that, just the carburetor. And it had a huge motor. It had like the biggest motor that Chrysler made at that time, which I don't know about motors, but it was like 440, 460, or whatever. I don't know what it is. One of the 400 numbers. And it was huge. And that thing would take off. And I had this mechanic I would take my cars to, and he was a pretty good mechanic, and he was pretty reasonable. And he was working on the carburetor. And the first time I took my car there, I think he was putting on the brakes, and he was so amazed by that motor. And that motor was huge. When you would open the hood, that motor would, it was kind of rounded over. It barely had enough room for the hood to close. Those motors are, gigantic. And he just was in love with that motor too. He's like, you don't need that motor. You don't need that much power. Let me switch it out, and I'll put a smaller motor, and it'll save you gas. And I was like, no, I don't want anybody messing with the motor. No way, it runs perfect, and I like it. And I can get on the freeway now without getting killed, and on the highway. We don't really have, well, we do have like small freeways now in the city, but back then we just had like this loop that went around the city, and it was like 2 lanes one way and 2 lanes the other way, but now it's a lot bigger. And people drive, I don't want to say crazy, but they don't drive very good around here. And there's a theory to that, because it's so flat that you can see for like almost a mile down the road, like on certain streets, you can see the lights changing, and people try to drive so fast and they can't make it. It's just too far unless you're going like 80 miles an hour. And there are people who do that here, and they kill people. They're stupid, you know. So we have a lot of wrecks in this town. We've been on national news and everything. It's just crazy. A lot of people get offended when I say that, but it's kind of common knowledge. Even people from other cities are like, yeah, y'all have a bad driving record there. It's true, but back to the story. I didn't want him to change the motor out. No, I was like, no way. And then, like the next year, he ended up doing the carburetor work, and it took him like 3 days. He kept telling me he couldn't get it adjusted right, and which is a long time to fix a carburetor for 3 days. And when I finally got the car right back, it didn't seem like it drove very well. Like the power wasn't near what it used to be. And I took it back to him and I said, it's not driving right, you know, it's the power, it's like being sucked out. I'm like, the carburetor's not working right. He goes, okay, let me work on it. And I think he worked on it for like another day. And then I got it back, and it just was not the same. And I was very upset, and I called him, and we kind of got into a little argument or something, I think. And so I was just decided I was going to start going to another mechanic. And then slowly, as things went on, I kept having more and more trouble with the car, and it just slowly kept losing power. And I didn't have money to fix it. I had spent all the money. I think throughout every few months I had to like do something to it. And then that was the final straw, was what I spent on the carburetor. And actually I can't remember. There's one thing he fixed underneath the car, and I don't remember what it was. It was actually this big long rod that goes up the whole carriage, and it connects the two back wheels. And God, I can't. It's on the tip of my tongue. Well, it costed like, I don't remember, like $700 or something, really expensive for me. And eventually that car just crapped out on me, and it just wouldn't go. I mean, it would putter around and wouldn't hardly go. And then later on, as at one point in time I was married, and this before this he was my boyfriend, and I was parting the car out, and the guy who came to buy the electrical system, he was going to take it all apart, and my not present husband, I opened the hood and I told him, can you look at that motor and tell me what size motor that is? And they both just said 350 at the same time. So that sorry son of a whatever you want to call him, he stole my motor to my car. He put in a 350 motor, and it ruined my car. And this is like a couple of years later that I found this out, you know, that I realized it, you know, because the car had been sitting there for a while. And I was so mad, so upset, because I lost my job over it. I couldn't get to work. I lived kind of out in the country a little bit, kind of not too far, but not, you know, not where people are going to come and pick me up every day and take me and do everything for me, you know. So it totally disrupted my life. I had to move in with my sister. All these things happened, you know. It caused a whole succession of problems, just one after the other, you know, because of my loss of transportation, you know. That's a huge hit for somebody to take. And that mechanic, if I can't even say what I want to say about him. Don't want to get myself in trouble, so. But that literally took a chunk of time out of my life, and it took, you know, a lot, and I had to find another job, and everything just, I mean, it caused me a whole lot of problems at that time. So I got a motor stolen out of my car. And I would say that's probably one of the biggest things people have stolen from me, besides what just happened to me. And I remember when I was, well, I wasn't in high school. I had already graduated. This happened a few years after I graduated. This kid had a really nice, I think like a Camaro or some kind of Trans Am or something, and it had a really good fast motor in it. And Very expensive motor, like a custom build, or whatever. And somebody, or they're thinking that probably at least two people, they came into the school parking lot during school hours where the car was parked, and they stole the motor out of his car. It's a very expensive, fast motor, and they must have done it within, like, you can dismantle a motor like really quickly, like 20 or 30 minutes if you have enough people and you have the expertise. If you know how to do it, it doesn't take much time to steal a motor, really. Nobody saw it, nobody heard anything. That's just crazy, I think. But it does happen. It happens a lot. And that's just a crazy kind of theft, I think. But it does happen. And it happened to me. And I think one other time when I was really young, somebody broke into a car that I had, and I had like a windbreaker, a pair of gloves, and I don't remember, sunglasses, some little small things. And they broke into my car, and that's what they stole. They didn't get anything valuable. I didn't have anything in it. But with all that's happened to me, I blame myself. I put a lot of the blame on myself because I didn't have the storage unit with the good lock. I immediately went and bought one of those round locks that are really hard to cut off with the thick the thick metal rod. It's curved. It's really hard to get a pair of bolt cutters in there. I replaced it. And I'm going to consolidate that small unit in with the big unit, which I was planning on doing that anyway, and I had gone over there once before, right before things got stolen. I looked around, and I was kind of thinking, I need to change that lock, or I need to hurry up and get this stuff out of here. Should have done it, So I put a lot of blame on myself. I put the most blame on the thief, though. The thief. But, it's just something I learned. I mean, you do stupid things all the time. People do it all the time, they do dumb things where it's too late. So, from me to y'all, if you're doing something stupid right now, fix it. Hurry up and fix it. Get it done. So you don't end up like me, And the jewelry, actually, I've been going through it. I have it on my phone. And it's probably worth twice what I told the cops. So I'm going to have to revise that with the cops. And it's just pieces that, I kind of rewarded myself. I think I said this yesterday in a video. Yeah. Like some things that you like to buy for yourself, or little things that you save up for, you do things. This is something I really want. So, it'd take me like a whole year, 10 months or whatever, and I would get like a little piece, and it would be something. I would look for the things that were like discounted really hard, and it's just that they were really pretty, very beautiful pieces. And I'm not rich, and I don't get the opportunity to have much. I work really hard, and I work a lot of hours, and that was just something I was hoping, kind of in a way, to save in the event that if I did need to rely on something to resell later. Because I got it at such a good discount, and they were, not super high quality, but they were really decent pieces, very pretty, beautiful pieces. And I did have to sell a few pieces of it. I think the past couple of years I've done that. The ones that I think I could part with, and I was, I have them in order, what was my favorites, and, which ones I would sell first or something like that if something happened. And, I did make more money than what I bought them for, So they kind of were like an investment that I kind of relied on in the event something would happen, and plus something that I liked, The one few little things that I really, did like. And, well, they're gone. I went to several pawn shops yesterday to explain to them, and I'm gonna go to Walmart, print out pictures, and make a bigger list, and maybe one of them will have the name of the person if they've sold some of the pieces, and I can call the cops. That's most I can hope for. And I've been telling everybody who will listen to me, they stole my junk. You know, my story of woe and sadness and all that. But, you know, I'm just going to get over it and just get back up and start doing things over. And that's all you can do, you know. Just get over it. That's the best I can tell myself, you know, at this point. Well, I hope that y'all are doing okay, and remember, don't do stupid stuff like what I've done. If there's anything you need to fix right now, do it. If you're procrastinating on something important, do it. Get it fixed, get it done, whatever. That's what I've learned. Don't do stupid things. Because they'll become a pattern and then it'll be awful for you. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe.